Guys, and welcome back to my channel. Sorry I've been a little bit absent, but I am back. Today I'm going to be doing a makeup tutorial and I'm going to be doing a look with kind of heavy liner, smoked out wing. I did put a picture of this look on my Instagram a little while ago and I got a few requests for a tutorial, so I thought perfect time. It's actually really simple, so I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks on how to ace your own winged eyeliner. I don't think I've ever covered that here on my YouTube channel, so I thought it'd be good to give you some tips on doing your own winged liner and how to smoke that out and get that really beautiful smoky effect, which is super on trend right now. Before we start, I am very excited to announce that today's video has a sponsor. Today's sponsor is Luisa Jewelry. I'm really excited to be working with them. The pieces of their jewelry they have gifted to me as part of this sponsorship are phenomenal. So this necklace that I am wearing here, I'm going to be doing some close-ups of the jewelry for you. It is beautiful. It's just a fine kind of plain chain, but I purposely went for pieces that are classic and timeless, but it's also got this beautiful like detail to it, which you'll see in the close-up. Very delicate, just stunning, and I love that I would be able to wear this on its own for something simple or layer it up if I wanted to, or you could put your own pendant or something on it. Some great things about this brand: they are a sustainable jewelry company, so all their pieces are carbon neutral, which is amazing for our environment. Their goal is to achieve a net carbon zero footprint by the end of 2020 and maintain that for years coming forward, which is absolutely amazing. Their pricing is super reasonable. They start from $39 and upwards, depending on whether you want something more affordable or more on the luxurious end of things. There's something for everyone. The pieces are amazing. They hold up, they don't tarnish. For my earrings, I have gone these, I'm gonna zoom you in. These beautiful little diamante, like huggy hoops with the little ones. They're stunning, they're gold and they've got little diamantes. I'm obsessed with them. What I love about these in particular and why I went for them as well, I love that I would be able to either just wear them in my front hole for something really simple, or I have 3 earring holes up my right ear and I have 2 on my left, or I could put them in the second or third hole and layer them up if I wanted more statement earrings in my front holes. But overall, I'm just so obsessed with these. They're classic. They will stay in my wardrobe for years to come. I have a few gold chains, but this is easily my favorite. Once you see the texture of it, you understand. It's just absolutely beautiful. So thank you so much for sponsoring today's video, Anna Luisa. And I do have a discount code for you guys. I will leave a link in the bio for you. The code is Brody10 to get yourself a cheeky little discount. And yeah, I know you guys will love it as much as I do. All their pieces, I struggled really hard to pick what I loved the most because all of their jewelry is really my style, really beautiful, kind of dainty, fine, on-trend pieces, just absolutely stunning. So thank you so much. Let's get on to the makeup tutorial. We're gonna start with some eye primer. So I'm just gonna take my P. Louise base. Hope that is in focus for you. And this is in the shade, I think it's the Rumor, so I think that's the original shade. I'm popping it. This is my this is my personal one, so it's just going straight on my eyelids. So once we've done that, I'm going to take a fluffy brush. This one's by Glam Theory. Beautiful brushes, beautiful packaging. Not packaging. What would you call this? Is it packaging? I don't know. Beautiful handle nonetheless. And great quality brushes. So I'm actually going to be taking a little bit of bronzer on my eyelid. That's all I did in this look. Really simple, because the main focus is the liner. Take whatever bronzer you're going to use in your cheeks. By bringing that in with your eyes, it just helps your makeup to kind of go together and it'll help your eyes pop. So this is Hourglass Radiance Bronze Light. Just looks like this. It's a really popular bronzer. If you're into makeup, you've probably heard of it. And I'm just going to take a bit of that on a fluffy brush and pop that through my crease. So I'm taking MAC Vanilla pigment. This is one of my all-time favorite pigments. It's just incredibly versatile. You can use it for so many different things. And on a client, I would take a brush, but on myself, the best way to use this, I'm just picking like a little bit up and using my finger, and I'm not using a lot, and I'm just sweeping that over the lid, and it just gives a nice sheen to the eyelids. But it's definitely not like really glittery. I wouldn't even say it's like sparkly as such. It just leaves a glow to the eyelids. It also makes a beautiful highlight in that as well. It's just a beautiful pigment that I have had for years and will continue to purchase for years to come. Then you want to go back in with your brush with nothing new on it and just blend so that's nice and seamless. Let me find my eyeliner. So I'm just going to use whatever you prefer. I personally prefer to use a liquid liner on myself. I find it the easiest. I know there's gels, there's liquids, cakes. Use whatever's easiest for you. If you struggle with doing eyeliner, a good tip is to just skip using an actual eyeliner and going with an eyeshadow. It's more subtle and you have more control. So yeah, that's a good trick. But I'm just using a liquid liner with like a tip like this. This is what I personally find the easiest to use on myself. So how I do eyeliner, and this technique will slightly differ depending on your eye shape. I can't give you a one size fits all. How I do it, I'm just going to start by doing a thin line on my top lash line. So I hold the brush flat like that. So if you kind of see, really hope I'm in frame. I'm going to move you down slightly just because I know I'm going to be looking down. Another tip too, especially if you're doing fake eyelashes, and because we're smoking it out, don't stress too much about getting it so precise. Like if you're someone who struggles with liner, smoky liner is for you because it's pretty easy and you can smoke out any mistakes. You need to get a steady hand, and that's just with practice. But my biggest mistake I tend to make is when I line with my eyes open a bit. So I tend to, I'll kind of shut my eyes, change it up depending on the angle, but I kind of tilt my head back like this and just try and get in that, and that's what I find is the easiest way. Alright, and now we're going to do the wing. So here's my tip. Have your eyes open, just kind of look straight ahead. And we're going to do a line on our eye, just like that, and then I go in, and this is what works for me. Each to their own. I will join it up to this, and I start with my eye open. Then as I'm moving in, I don't shut my eye, I keep my eye open, but I look down. When you shut your eye, that skin can fold up, and that's how you can stuff up your liner sometimes. Having it open keeps the skin nice and, not spread, but no fine lines, and it's just easier. So if you just watch, you'll see what I mean. There we go. We've got a wing. Once your wings are on, now we're going to start to smoke them out. So grab any black eyeshadow that you like. I'm taking the Inglot JLo one. I don't know if they still do that, but the Inglot black is good because I find it's still got the pigment and it can blend, but it has minimal fallout. So I'm just taking a tiny brush, picking up a bit of black eyeshadow. It looks like this from Zoeva, but you don't have to use this exact brush, but any small detail brush. You don't want anything big or bulky, it'll just make a mess. Start going in on top of that liner and like wiggling that shadow across my lash line. Key to a smoky liner, but keeping it still structured to some extent. Try and leave that point as much as you can so that doesn't go like blunt. Try and keep the point and focus on just in here. Then I'm going to take a slightly bigger one, just a tiny bit of black shadow, and kind of like so we can feather it out even more. Okay, see that? See how we're smoky a lot through here, but our ends are still nice and sharp. So we still have that structure. I mean, if you don't want much structure or you're doing this without a wing, you don't have to worry about that. It's just if you want to keep your wing intact. Smoked out that side too, so we've got two smoky wings. Okay, now I'm just going to pop a little bit of mascara on. Now for lashes today, I'm using these. I have used these before, so they might look a little beat up. They look like this. And they're by the K Collective, which you can find on Instagram. And the style of these, I don't know if they say it. Oh, Alexis. And I'm coating that lash with some glue. Oops. And we're just going to pop them straight on the eye. So when I do my own lashes, same thing, I kind of tilt my head back, pop it in the middle first, and then connect up the end and the inner corner. Alright, we'll come back to the eyes. Let's start with the base. I don't think I'll bother with any primer. I won't bother with primer today just because I'm going to take this straight off after I finish filming. So I'm taking the Glam Theory Beauty Sponge. It's really good. It's awesome. So I'm just taking my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation today, and I took about 1.5 pumps of that on my sponge, and I'm just going to start working that all over my face. Alright, then when I've done a light layer of that, I'm not wearing too much foundation. I'm going to take some concealer, sorry, just using Too Faced Born This Way in the shade Light Beige. Oh, I nearly forgot. I asked you guys to ask me a few questions for me to answer during this video, and I almost forgot. Too busy explaining. I think I had to explain the Smokey liner, but while I'm doing my base, I can kind of answer them. Let's have a look. Okay. Put my concealer on, then I'll answer a question. Okay, someone has asked me, if you weren't doing makeup, what would be your dream job? Obviously I've started my clothing brand now, Wednesday Blues. Check them out on Insta if you haven't. They're at Wednesday Blues _. That would definitely be a dream, to have my own clothing brand, or something in interior design, interior decorating, or even like floral design, stuff like that. I quite like as well. Someone has asked, what is one of your biggest achievements? I think that starting my own clothing brand would have to be, like, for me right now, that's one of my biggest achievements, and actually, like, having seen people wearing our clothes is really amazing. I think creating my own product with the makeup workshop would be like a big makeup achievement that I'm really proud of. Someone has said, who made the first move out of you and Josh? Josh, actually. Alright, here's a little funny story about how we started. I'm pretty sure you all know, but for those that don't, I've been with my boyfriend since we were 16, which was 2013. So I'm just taking a bit of the Chanel Soleil de Tan. I never know how to pronounce that, but yeah, it looks like this. If that one's focused. There we go. And I'm just using a bit of cream bronzer on my face. So in January 2013, this is how, we went to school together, so we were always mates, whatever. But it was never really anything more. I'd like kissed him at a party in year 9, but nothing really came out of that. In fact, I thought he was such a bad kisser, it turned me off him. He's gonna hate me saying that. He was like 15. And then so we were going into year 11, so Jan 2013, he was in Lawn for a holiday, and so was I. He was with his best mate, who was also one of my friends from school, and I was going with my family. And obviously, actually we first saw each other, we were both at Food Works. Sorry, my dog's barking. There's like a Food Works in Lawn, and I bumped into them there. And anyway, that was funny. But I remember saying to my mum, I was like, oh my god, I saw Josh at Food Works, and I got like butterflies in my tummy. I don't know why, because I didn't have feelings for him. In fact, I liked one of his best mates. Not the one he was with, but yeah, I'd had a bit of a fling with one of his, sorry, it stopped recording, but I'm back. So yeah, I had a little bit of a fling with one of his best mates actually. So I didn't even like think about Josh like that. Anyway, so we decided to catch up while we were in Lawn, and then there was a few things. First, I have to thank my cousin. My cousin was with me. I have to thank her for this because it probably wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for her. So Josh's best mate that was there wanted to kiss my cousin. My cousin hadn't kissed a boy yet. It was her first kiss. And we were trying to set that up. So we were down on the beach and me and Josh walked away so they could kiss. And when we walked away, we went and climbed these rocks. And he was like, I just thought it was really cute. He was like holding my hands and helping me on the rocks. And this other guy I've been on and off with didn't treat me well, didn't have respect for me, never did anything nice for me. And I was just like, oh my God, like he's being so caring and affectionate, and I wasn't really used to that. But it was really nice. So it started with that, and then we went to, and then I think Josh gave me a kiss, which was nice. And then we went to an ice cream shop with like a little group of us, and we were sitting out the front of the ice cream shop, and he started holding my hand under the table. But it just, I don't know, it just, obviously we hadn't ever, I mean, I'd known the guy since 2010, so I'd known him for 3 years, but we'd never been like this, we never had feelings or anything like this for each other, but it really did feel natural. I know it sounds corny. But yeah, he grabbed my hand, and then he walked me back to where I was staying, and he came in for a bit, and we were just sitting on my bed. I think my mum was there too, and we were just talking and that. And he was kind of I was laying on him, and he was like pulling his hands through my hair. And my mum was like, ooh, what's going on here? Yeah, just cute little gestures. So he was making his move. And then we kind of had a little fling going for a little bit after that when I got back. But I was still very confused. Still kind of caught up on this other guy, as well as, sorry, I'm just putting a bit of MAC Give Me Sun bronzer on my cheeks. Still kind of caught up on this other guy, and not used to a guy that actually treated me well. So then we got back, and we'd been talking heaps and that, and he invited me to the movies, and I just shat myself. Like, I'd never had a proper boyfriend either. Like, mind you, these flings that I was having with this guy and there was another guy, like, they never asked me to be their girlfriend because they were just assholes to me. So I was a little bit like scared of that, and he asked me to the movies, and I just was like, oh, I don't think we should, Josh. Like, I think we're better as friends. And then he says to me, oh yeah, I was gonna ask you to the movies to tell you we should just be friends. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I was a little bit disheartened by that. Funnily enough, like, I think like 2 years into our relationship, he said to me, he's like, oh no, I wasn't gonna ask you. I wasn't gonna ask you to just be friends. I wanted to keep going, but I was embarrassed when you said you wanted to stop. So cute. Anyway, I could probably zoom you out slightly now because I'm just doing my base. Anyway, yeah, and then we had business together, and we just were sitting together in every business class at school. And yeah, I think things just really rekindled from there. I don't think I'm going to contour my nose today. I think I'm just going to leave it. And things just, yeah, kind of took off a little bit from there. Now I'm using the Hourglass bronzer, same one that's on the eyes. And it just happened kind of organically, but he was definitely the one to persist with it. He asked me to be his girlfriend one time, and I said no, I wasn't ready. Anyway, obviously he asked again, and it all worked out good. But yeah, anyway, that was probably like an unnecessary story. Hopefully you enjoyed it. But that's kind of how we started. And yeah, he was definitely the one to persist it. And I think he was a little bit keener than I was initially. But he broke his jaw in footy when we'd like kind of just started talking, but nothing serious. And I remember, like, I didn't know if he liked me because we hadn't spoken about that yet. And I didn't know whether he wanted me to go visit him, so I didn't. And then he told me that he was like expecting me to come visit, and then he was annoyed that I didn't. So yeah, that was funny. But yeah, he definitely made the first move, but I'm glad he did. Popping a little bit of blush on my cheeks. This is Becca Tiger Lily. It's like a nice coral peachy shade. Someone said, what was the last thing you watched? I have been bloody hooked on Desperate Housewives. I love Desperate Housewives. I started watching it like last week and I'm already like up to season 3, or just about up to season 3. I always like never watched it, I guess, because my mum used to watch it. It used to just be on like, I don't know, channel 7 or channel 9 or something. And I thought it was like a crappy TV show like Home and Away. But it's not. It's actually really good and there's so much going on, and yeah, I love it. I am hooked on Desperate Housewives. So if you want something good to watch, I recommend Desperate Housewives. MAC Hyper Real Glow Palette. I'm going to take, a mixture of these two. Pop that on my cheeks. Down my nose. And cupid's bow. And a little bit up here. Okay. And then always don't forget, once you put your highlighter on, to go back and blend everything together. Okay. Now, another question we got. Just gonna do my brows. I'm using Pink Honey. It's like the best brow glue. And I'm just gonna spray a little spoolie with some setting spray. This is the Clara Cosmetics one. It smells so good, like, it smells like watermelon. This also smells really good. Oh, I love sweet smelling stuff. I'm just gonna give that a few good pumps. You can just use water, but I'm too lazy to get up. And I just kind of twirl it in there, like a little hole, you can kind of see. And then I'm just gonna push my brows up. Okay, someone else has asked, what's my favorite makeup brand? I really struggle with this question because it depends on the category. Like, if I could only use one brand for eyes, I think I'd probably go Inglot. Sorry if you can hear a helicopter right now. It's so loud. I think I'd probably go, yeah, I don't know, it's so hard because there's so many brands and there's just the same as anything. Every brand has good and bad. I've tried products from every brands I love that I don't like, and then stuff I do love. So it's really hard for me to pinpoint. If I had to choose one base brand, I'd probably go NARS. And then eyes, I'd probably go Inglot. Okay, just finish spicing them up. And I'm just gonna take a brow pen and just do some little flicks in my brows. Another question I got, what's one thing you can say you personally love about yourself? I love this question. I know my self-worth. I think that is an extremely undervalued trait. I think more people need to be aware of their self-worth. Okay, what else do we get here? I've just finished my brows and I'll answer another question. Right, then my brows, I'm just going to brush that product through to soften it. Now we're going to go with on the base, so we're going to go back in and start working on the underneath of the eye. Whatever black pencil you've got. This is a NARS Longer Than Life long wear pencil. Another question I got, where'd you study makeup, or where'd you do your course? So I did my, oh, you can't even see me. I did my diploma of specialist makeup services at the Academy of Makeup in 2015. So yeah, I am diploma qualified in makeup. The course was not beauty, so I do not know lash extensions and waxing and all that other stuff. It was just makeup. Like everything you could imagine about makeup, I learned it. Because if someone's only done a beauty course, so only qualified in like Cert 3 beauty or whatever, I don't even know what there is. But the odds are they would have learned probably like waxing, lash lifts, lash extensions maybe, or massage, facial, stuff like that. And they probably only did makeup for a few weeks or a month or so. And they only touch on, from other people I've spoken to that done it, they only touch on the very basics of makeup. So that would probably cover you kind of a little bit of bridal, but that's about it. Whereas my course covered me bridal, editorial, runway like catwalk, special effects, gore, blood and gore, to like prosthetics, body art, like everything, stage makeup, everything you can imagine with makeup, my course covered, which was great. And I'm just going to start blending out that liner. I'm going to take a bit of black shadow again and just kind of press it underneath, really tight to the lash line. So I think when you're doing a black smoky eye underneath, the key to not having the panda eyes in that is you can use black, you can have it as intense and dark as you want, but don't blend that black really low. Try and keep it quite tight to that lash line. Grab a little bit of the highlighter, which is the shade Cookie, and pop that just on my brow bone and inner corner. Someone else has asked what's my favourite beverage. I don't know if this refers to alcohol or not, so I'll answer alcoholic and non-alcoholic. Non-alcoholic, 100% vanilla Coke. I have a serious issue with vanilla Coke, like it's bad to the point it's genuinely an addiction though, because I don't really drink coffee. Like I might drink it every now and then, and I kind of, to me, it feels like Coke is like my caffeine fix. But yeah, it is an issue that needs to be sorted with. And alcohol wise, when I drink vodka lime soda for the most part. But it's not because I like the taste, it's because the only thing that doesn't like bloat me that bad, but I still do enjoy it. If I had to do like something that's absolutely delicious, I love the Gordon's pink gin and berry soda water, that's yum. Yeah, probably say that's my favourite at the moment, especially in the warmer weather. It's delicious. This person asked, do you plan on buying a house with your boyfriend soon? So, for those of you who don't know, my partner and I live at my parents' house. I'm still at home. I would love to buy a house soon, but my boyfriend's still at uni. And for anyone else that might be at uni, I think you understand, uni students do not have a lot of money. And we both agreed that it's only fair that if we're going to buy a house, we're putting in equal amounts, and he can't match what I'd be able to put in right now. So we're pretty happy to wait. We have our own space here. It's a pretty big house. We have all of upstairs. We share it with my sister, but she's going to college next June, then we'll have the whole space to ourselves. I mean, we're not in a rush to pop out a kid soon, so we're pretty happy to stay here for as long as we need. We definitely will buy a house together, but we don't want to rent. We've already discussed that. We'd rather stay here than go and rent and just save for when we can actually buy. So, and until we can afford a house that has what we need, we're happy to stay here. So yeah, it will happen. It's just not like right now, because yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize that my boyfriend is still at uni studying. I mean, because I've been doing makeup full time since mid-2015 actually. So yeah, I've had time to save money. He has not had as much time because he's been in and out of a few jobs, but yeah, he's finishing his uni degree next year. So yeah, we just wait till he finishes that first. Alright, I'm just going to pop a bit of lippy on. What do I want to use? I'm just going to use my trusty Fenty Glow Gloss. Love it. Lip liner makes such a difference. Obviously I can't get my lips done right now, and I feel like they're looking really small, so lip liner, just overlining my natural line a little bit. I love it. This is pretty much the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something and enjoyed some of my little stories. This vibe, I love the little diamante hoops with like the smoky eye and a black top and hair up. I just think it looks really, really nice. And thank you so much to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget, I'll leave all the information down below. Brody 10 for a discount. I know you guys will love their pieces, especially if you're into fine, dainty, beautiful, timeless pieces that are gonna hold up and sustainably made. That's what we love. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.